welcome everyone. If you're able to come on camera now, that would be awesome. It's always good to see people instead of names. I always feel bad for the teachers that had all their students off camera and they're just talking to the screen. So welcome everyone to your community quarterly meeting. This is a quarterly meeting that we have to help bring community together to take tangible steps to address homelessness, but we'll go into that in a little bit. I just want to welcome everyone. My name is Valerie Kraut. I'm the Chief Program Officer for Associated Ministries. And today we have a really exciting meeting with the theme of outreach. You're going to learn some really cool ways to get involved, to outreach into your community. So please be prepared to take some good notes. Get the contact information I share in the box, because you're going to get the high level information and you'll want to make those connections, bring back to your church, to your community. We're going to continue to spread the word through Associated Ministries as well. So, and what I will do, there will be, you can put some questions or comments in the chat box as we go. We may or may not have time for questions, so I just want to give you a heads up there. So before we start our meeting today, and I'm going to share with you what I read in the chat box here. We're going to start off by reading the Puyallup Tribe official land acknowledgement. So we acknowledge that we are on the traditional homeland of the Puyallup Tribe. The Puyallup people have lived and stewarded these lands since the beginning of time and continue to do so today. We recognize that this land acknowledgement is one small step towards true allyship, and we commit to uplifting the voices, experiences, and histories of the indigenous people of this land and beyond. So before we get started with the presentation, we're going to hear from Ed Jacobs. He's going to provide a blessing for the meeting. He's the chaplain with the Tacoma Fire Department, as well as a member of Christ Episcopal Church. But before Ed provides a blessing, I just want to let you know, you got an excited meeting. We're going to hear from Michelle Cotton, the development coordinator at Associated Ministries. Heidi, is it Sturmer, director of Feed 253, which I'm really excited to hear more about. And then she brought a volunteer along with her. I don't know if she made it here yet, but and then Gerald Daniels, he's the director of Rise Center. I don't see him yet, but he should be on here soon. And then Michael Yoder, who I know is coming from another meeting, the executive director of Associated Ministries. So again, an exciting meeting planned this evening. We plan to go in until 6 p.m. So I'm going to try to keep us on mark so we could end at that time. So again, what I read, I'm going to put in the chat box. But before I read our mission vision and what these meetings are for, Ed, can you please start us off with a blessing?
Certainly. We're going to take a short time of quiet contemplation just to clear our minds of issues of the day and engage our hearts. Lord, we come before you asking for clarity in your word. Speak to us as we center ourselves in preparation for the upcoming meeting. Please join me now in a quick centering exercise. Place your feet on the floor, arms and hands at rest. Let go of the immediate concerns of the day by letting them pass through and out of your mind. Notice your breathing, and in noticing, let your breathing become slower and more relaxed. Listen to your heart for inspiration. May the work of God be accomplished to the collective good during this meeting. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Valerie, I was going to take just 30 seconds and talk about the homeless memorial.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's okay.
On December 21st at 6 o'clock at Shiloh Baptist Church, we're going to have the yearly homeless memorial, honoring those that have died while being homeless. And currently we have 109 people that we know of that have died in the last year while being homeless. And so we expect to have 120 to 130 people that we will remember during this service. So we encourage you to come out and remember them. So that's it, Valerie. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Ed. Wow, yeah, thank you for that. Thank you, Sandy, for putting the information in the chat box. So I put this in the chat box. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to ground us into the purpose for our time together here. Now, this mission vision is what the members of this meeting came up with together. So this is your community meeting. So the mission is to love and serve the needs of neighbors experiencing homelessness. The vision is communities of faith and social goodwill are educated and actively apply their essential abilities to help address and prevent homelessness in Pierce County through engagement with social service agencies and other innovative programs. The purpose, Associated Ministries convenes these meetings in partnership with other homeless and housing service providers working in Pierce County with the goal of creating an energizing space to gather regularly to learn about, discuss, and take action on the crisis of homelessness in our community. What we will achieve, we will bring like-minded people together, inform and educate attendees about homelessness in our community, seek understanding of effectiveness interventions, and discuss potential projects and solutions to positively impact homelessness. So again, today you're going to hear some wonderful information. So prepare to take some great notes because we're going to equip you to be able to have you, your members of your church, your friends, your family, any groups, work colleagues to go out and do some outreach in the community to help bring needed resources and comfort and support to those experiencing homelessness. So first we're going to hear from Michelle Cotton. So Michelle.
Hi. Thank you, Valerie, and welcome everyone. I'm Michelle Cotton. I'm the Development Coordinator at Associated Ministries, and I work with Project Homeless Connect. Associated Ministries has been working with this, we've been putting on this program for the past 4 years. We typically try to host 3 live events each year, and our target is to reach between 12 and 1,500 homeless individuals. It's a place where they can come together for resources, services. We have a dental van we get 2 dentists that will come and volunteer their time. We have a Hep C van coming. We have other partners that come, DSHS comes. So our clients, they can come sign up for benefits and food stamps and things that they need, basic essential services. We have medical care teams that come along. It's just a wonderful, wonderful event. Each event takes about 100 volunteers to put on. It's other than myself and one other colleague, the rest of it is all volunteer driven. And we are so appreciative. We hardly ever have a challenge getting volunteers because it's such a meaningful cause. We get volunteers sign up really early and we're able to disperse where they go, and some will come early, they'll stay late. The job gets done. And we host 3 events a year, and we just found out late last night that for our next event is going to be January 28th, 2022, and it's going to be held over at St. Leo's in the Bix Hall. We didn't have a location, thought we were going to have our event outdoors. We found out last night they are going to allow us indoors, so we are just beyond overly excited. We want to be able to give our clients an opportunity to at least get inside from the weather. The weather is probably not going to be real great in January, so just to give them a little respite to come inside. So with that, we will have vendors inside that will have services for them. We'll have a giveaway. We have socks and underwear, hygiene kits, all kinds of wonderful things to have them come along. We will have resources there as well. And that's pretty much what we have going on. It's just a wonderful event, and I will put our volunteer login in our Snap chat along with the vendor registrations. We do have to limit the vendors just to be sure that we get enough of the essential ones in there. If we have extra space, we allow other vendors in, but our main goal is we have to have the essential ones in there. And the reason we are doing our first one on January 28th is the same day as the National Point in Time Count Day. So that it just helps us account for more of our individuals that are in a community that are currently experiencing homelessness. So it's an awesome event. If you have free time, our event is, we're going to be servicing our clients from 11 to 3 on that day. So there's lots of early setup and then there'll be some cleanup afterwards. So if you are interested in volunteering, we would love to have you. And I'll put my information in the chat as well. So if you want to email me directly, please feel free to do that. And I appreciate all that our community does for what we do for this event. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Are
You're-
there any questions? Because we do have time.
Okay. Yes, Carolyn.
Michelle, do you have a flyer that we could put in our church bulletins?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. We just found out late last night, and I'm technically on vacation till next week, and I will get them out. And we will be getting out flyers for the participation and also volunteer and vendor flyers. We'll be getting all those out shortly. So yes, we will loop everybody in. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, Pat.
Apologize. Is it now? I'm out in the Puyallup area. Is there any way that we could figure out how to get perhaps bus tickets to the folks so they can get into to St. Leo's?
Yes, we are trying to work on logistics like that. We do partner with New Hope out in Puyallup.
Okay.
And we will be giving them some bus tickets. And they are one of our providers that also come in and they will be present with us that day.
Okay.
So when we're in non-COVID situation, we have several nonprofits and churches that will provide vans so we can shuttle folks in from wherever their home or encampment is. And then they'll get resources and we'll just shuttle them back so they're able to get back to their home.
Okay.
So, but just during COVID right now, we don't have access to that transportation, but thanks, Pat. That's a great question. Anything else? Anybody?
How many of you have been to Homeless Project Connect before? Raise your hand. Oh, cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's such an awesome event. If you haven't been there before, I encourage you to come check it out. Michelle does an awesome job of coordinating this event, and trust and believe it takes a lot. It's a lot of background work to get all that together, and then to make sure that there's plenty of different resources and connections for those experiencing homelessness. And it's been going for how many years now?
That I want to. I'm not sure. I'm not confident on that. I just know we've had it. This is going into our 4th year, and it's been going for a very long time.
Was going for at least 10 years before the 3 to 4 years we've been doing it. But I just want to make a plug for this because it's a really, really wonderful opportunity for you to share with your neighbors, with your fellow congregants at your faith community, people at your office, people in your classroom at school. If they are thinking like, what are homeless people, what are those experiencing homelessness really like? What would it look like to serve them? What would it look like to come alongside them? This is such a wonderful entry point to come and just come out for a couple of hours. And it's a very non-threatening, low-key way just to be with our neighbors who are unhoused in a really meaningful way, but in a way that is very accessible. You can wade into the shallow end of the pool. So all of you are passionate advocates here in this meeting. So we're expecting a lot of you don't need to be convinced about this, but we want you to have the information because the Project Homeless Connect is a great way for you to share with others who aren't quite as far along with you. Why don't you encourage someone to sign up along with you and come with you and serve that day and to meet some folks who are currently unhoused. And I think it'll really radically change their outlook of who our neighbors are that are unsheltered. And it might be an entree point for some people to begin thinking of other additional ways to serve our neighbors. So that's what I think is one of the more valuable aspects of Homeless Connect. It's a great introductory entree point to get people to come and just spend a half day serving our neighbors and realizing they are not all that different than you and I. And that's a good perspective to gain.
Right. And rain or shine, we will be there. Our last event was last September, and it poured down rain on September 17th. And we were there regardless. And not lacking in volunteers at all. Everybody got the mission. They knew what it was all about. And we were able to service a lot of clients that day. So thank you so much. Rain or shine, we are going to be there to help our community members that are currently experiencing homelessness. Thanks, Valerie, for having me on.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much. I know you're on vacation, so thank you.
All right, take care, everybody. Thanks.
Yeah, and I just want to say, never underestimate the power of just showing up and helping out. I worked in the direct service field for years and years, recruited volunteers for years, and people are always impacted just for people being there just because they care. You know, it's huge impact in individuals' lives. So I think that was some great information. That is one, as I told you, this is going to be outreach, how we can directly connect with those experiencing homelessness. And this is one project I cannot wait to hear about, because I'm thinking this is one area that I might see myself getting involved in. So I'm so excited. I heard about it. I reached out to Heidi. She was just so gracious. This is the first time we're actually meeting it besides talking via email, and just so happy to be here. I could tell just communicating with her. She's a wonderful person. So I'm so glad to make this connection, and I'm so happy for everybody to hear. But she's going to provide this awesome opportunity for, I'm hoping you get involved or you bring this information back. We're going to continue to try to get people out, because this need is very urgent in our times. There's hundreds of people sleeping out on the street. So we need services like Heidi's going to describe. And Heidi, I don't know if Toby is here or not. There's a couple that it's one of the volunteers through the program, but I'm going to stop talking because I just want to hear from you, Heidi. So
Sure.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no, thank you for inviting me. I'm not sure if Toby made it on either, but I actually have Toby on video that I can show you. That was my backup plan. So I can do that. But my name's Heidi Stormer. I'll just tell you a little bit about how we got started. I'll actually, let me just share my screen here. Let me see. Sorry, I should be better at this by now, but I thought I would just give you a little bit of background about how we got started. Back in 2009, my friend Karen and I were both working downtown Tacoma on 21st and Pacific. And my team, I was in charge of like our little volunteer coordination group for the business we were working at. And we'd been volunteering to cook lunch at the rescue mission for months. And then we got notice that we would be laid off and we could no longer do these external volunteer opportunities. We were going to keep working for a few more months though, and that happened to be over Thanksgiving and Christmas. So Karen and I decided to pass the hat, so to speak. We raised a little bit under $200. We took that to the QFC and filled up her trunk with 25 turkeys and about 100 pounds of potatoes and some canned goods. And we dropped those off at the rescue mission just in time for Thanksgiving. Over the years, we've continued to do this Thanksgiving food drive. And that budget from $200 is now, I think this year we spent about $25,000 for our Thanksgiving food drive. And we've been able to continue to do this work because our community has supported us so greatly. We're 100% volunteer run. So, all of this, everything that we get goes back out into the work that we do. For a long time, that was really focused on Thanksgiving and Christmas. We wanted to make sure that the families who had children in school that were accessing those free and reduced meal programs were being taken care of when they were on their longer breaks, right? So we knew that there were services during the summertime, but over those breaks, we recognized there was a need for those families. So we kept doing these Thanksgiving and Christmas drop-offs at the rescue mission, at the YWCA, at St. Leo's. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, we started a partnership with the YWCA. They have a domestic violence support program that was meeting twice a week on Mondays and Wednesdays. Mondays was open to the folks that are living in their safe housing, and Wednesdays was open to the community who wanted to access services but weren't currently in their housing. And we launched a Wednesday night meal program and clicked in for their existing Monday night meal program. So we were cooking for those nights, providing a meal so that folks could come and be part of those domestic violence support programs, have their kids in the programs, and not have to worry about who, am I going to feed my kid tonight, or am I going to take them for some counseling, right? We recognized that that was a barrier for a lot of folks. So that was 4 or 5 years ago. We've continued to do that, continued to do Thanksgiving food drives. And I can show you a few more pictures. We've continued to grow. So we started with my bus that you saw on that first slide, right? That's me back in, I think, 2010 in my Volkswagen bus. We were very excited to fill it up that day. And then we had 2 cars, and then we had 3 cars, and then you see a picture here with 5. I think we got up to 9 cars at one point, going from store to store with these bulk orders, trying to get as many turkeys as we could for Thanksgiving. Now we have 3 20-foot long U-Hauls that we fill up every Thanksgiving. And it takes us a couple of days to do distribution. But we've kept our theme going. Every year we have a new logo that has to do with a little bit of transportation Tacoma history. So buses and trucks and tugboats. But when COVID hit, we saw so many folks taking their homes onto the street, right? So our shelters became so much, people were so fearful of entering the shelters. They were experiencing some outbreaks of COVID, and they had to, of course, push their beds further apart. They couldn't service as many folks in the shelters because of the COVID regulations. So we saw a lot of folks moving onto the street. And we had been discussing this with a community group that we're part of. And some folks wanted to do some meal outreach, but they were having trouble getting started. And Feed 253, we already had some leftover resources from the year before. So we said, well, let's just do it. Let's just launch it and see what happens. And we started with 2 days a week. We have a group of community volunteers that cook, and some distribution people. Now it's within a short amount of time, it became 3 days a week. And so for 3 days a week since February of 2020, we've been doing these meals, and it's 40 or 50 or 60 meals, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. We package them all individually. So they're in their own little lunch sack with their utensils. They're passed out so that folks don't have to, do a lot of interaction. They can just grab what they want and head away. We don't ask a lot of questions. If somebody wants more than one, they can have more than one. The problem that we're having now is also because it's COVID. Our fundraising has been just pretty much stopped in its tracks. We were having brewers nights at local bars, and we were doing trivia nights, and we had a big gala event once a year with an auction, and all of those things came to a screeching halt for us with COVID. So we've done okay with an online auction last year, but where we really need help now is with monetary donations, with more community cooks who might help us do these meals 3 days a week. and with distribution. We have some rules around distribution because our values really are centered on dignity and treating people with kindness and respect. We don't need to know someone's story to help them. I don't ever want someone to feel like we're exploiting their situation so that, you know, we can feel good about the meal that we're handing them. So that the people that we look for distribution, we've been lucky enough to find up until now, are able to do that work really quietly and efficiently and safely without having a lot of extended interaction. I hope that makes sense with the folks in this call. That can be kind of a tough thing to explain to folks that aren't really familiar with this population. So that's what we're doing. I can show you a couple of videos. Toby, I don't think has quite got in, so I can show you those. I thank you, Sandy. I just saw your chat. But I'd also, while I get that set up, I'd love to answer any questions you have. I know Valerie had given me 20 minutes. I thought it was 10 at first, so and then 20. So I'm sorry, I only did the 2 slides. But if anyone has any questions, I'll get the video pulled up too.
I'm also going to put Heidi's contact information in the chat, so you can get a hold of her later as well.
I'm the only one that answers that email, so you'll always get me.
Tara had her hand up.
What was that?
I just had a question. If someone was interested in wanting to help, would they just email you, contact you to, okay.
Yeah, that would be great. And we have a volunteer coordinator now. Her name is Kelsey, and she brings the packaging supplies to the community cook's house, drops that off usually a couple of days ahead of their scheduled cooking day. And then our distribution, they package everything up, and then our distribution person picks up around 3:30 or 4 p.m. and then takes things down. And we have kind of a route that it shifts a bit as encampments move, but we have a bit of a route that our distribution folks follow downtown. And now folks are kind of relying on us. So we thought we would do that work for a few months, and then it was a year, and now it's going on, it'll be 2 years. And I don't see an end in sight for this work. So even as COVID had kind of cooled off, I think we all recognize that, you know, there are just more people on the street now, and that services like this direct aid is really fundamental until or unless we can come together in a more effective way to help these folks more holistically in Tacoma.
I have a question if you were wanting to volunteer as a cook.
Yeah.
So is the volunteer expected to pay for all of those supplies, or is that covered? That's the first part. And then the second part is, when you say cook, like, I'm not a very good cook, but I could make sandwiches all day long. So I'm just wondering, like, what that would look like.
Yeah, so no, the cook is not expected to pay for the supplies. You can either give me a list ahead of time, and I will purchase those items and deliver them for you, or we can do a grocery store pickup. Or we have a fund through the community group, and we can do some reimbursement. So folks donate through, it's an anarchist group. It's a little under the radar. But folks do monetary donations occasionally to them, and then they have a fund for community cooks. And sandwiches are great. We do have some guidelines around what we cook, and we don't do anything that is super spicy. We don't do anything that's super crunchy or tough. We want to recognize that folks don't always have great access to dental care or health care when they're houseless, and those things can be really irritating. or uncomfortable to eat. So we keep things, relatively not bland, but but not spicy and relatively easy to eat, even just with a spoon. So still want to have good food and quality stuff that you would serve in your own home. That's another value that we have. We never want to give people anything less than that we would serve at our own table.
How many do you serve?
Depends on the cook. Some of our cooks really, they'll knock 60 servings out, and that's tough for me to do in my little tiny home kitchen. So some nights we actually have 2 folks that cook, and they'll each maybe do 25 or 30 servings to try to get up to a bigger number. But we kind of figure that any drop in the bucket counts. So if a cook is only able to do 25 or 30 servings, and that's all we can do on some Tuesday night, we're still going to distribute those meals and get those out. We're always going to strive for more than that, but that's still 25 or 30 people with a meal. So. I'm not even sure, Sandy, that I answered the second part of your question. Did I?
You did.
Okay. Food
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, cost and sandwiches. That's right.
Mhm.
We do try to also keep the cost under $2 per serving. So we look a lot at, baked pasta dishes, and a lot of folks are doing soup and chili and baked potatoes and stuff like that, especially on the colder nights. We also distribute, we do get donations for gloves and hand warmers, and we distribute bottled water as well. So our focus is on food, but whenever we get something that's comfort care or hygiene related, we definitely push those out as well. I can show you Toby's smiling face here. I've got her pulled up. Let me just share my screen again. It will let me. Okay. Oh, do you have the sound or no sound?
No, I didn't hear any sound.
Oh,
there
I
it
think
is.
I got it.
My name
There
is
it
Toby
goes.
Tomany, and I moved to Tacoma in 2014, and my daughter started kindergarten at one of the public schools, the Bryant Montessori, in 2016. And they communicate through Thursday folders, and so I got a thing in the Thursday folder saying, we're building meals for the families in our community, in our Bryant community, that need some assistance with food. And these are the things you can bring. And I was like, oh, that's great. I should go and see what they already have. And then so I can see what I should bring. So then I went in the Friday before Thanksgiving, and I asked the teacher, like, what have you collected? And she was like, oh, yeah, whatever's in that box over there. And I was like, oh, and I went and looked, and there was like black beans and a can of sweet potatoes. And I was like, oh, do we have like a turkey? And she was like, nope, just whatever's in the box. And so then I went around to every classroom and I looked at the boxes that they had, and I was like, there are families that are depending on food next week, and we're not gonna have it for them. And so I immediately got on Facebook and to all my community pages and onto my personal page, and I made a list of the things that we needed, and I kind of put out an all call, like, when you're out shopping this weekend, anything will help. If you want to give a couple bucks, whatever you can do to help, we majorly need help. And I was the most worried about turkeys because they're the most expensive. So then on one of the community pages that I posted on, the founder of Beach 253 was like, I can get you your turkeys. And I remember exactly where I was. Like, I had just gone home, and then I was walking back to the school, and I just started crying my face off because I was like, heck yeah, turkeys. I can get everything else that I need, but the turkeys, yes. I was so excited. So it just was like the wind in my sails to just get us through the rest of the week, to put together a meal that could be like a celebratory meal, not just the bare basics, but like something that was festive and worthy of a long holiday weekend for a family. Bless you. For a family, especially like a family that like is in my school that is, struggling with food stability. Being able to have food is a basic human right, and Feed 253 has made our community, my school community, better able to serve the kids in our community. Like, no kid should not be able to have food when they're hungry, and Feed 253 makes that a reality.
If I can stop the video, that'll be the real test here.
What a great spokesperson she is.
Yeah, she's great. She's really sweet. And she's continued to volunteer for us for the last several years. We still provide turkeys and now all the fixings too, for the lower income families at Bryant who need some support.
Well,
it's a great partnership.
Yeah, her energy is very contagious. I'd like to, I know Associated Ministries, that will help get the word out to the broader community to get more people involved. And I'm just really asking for the people on the screen. I will send something that I'll work with Heidi and get some verbiage and get the connections. If we could all help get the word out to see how much support we can get Feed 253. And see what we can do. This is directly connecting to households experiencing homelessness. So this is a great tangible way to ensure that individuals receive this type of needed support, and through a program that's volunteer ran. I mean, what a testimony of all the volunteers here that get involved to just support an agency like this. Sandy?
I just had a quick clarifying question, Heidi. Is this for, when you say Feed 253, is this Tacoma only, or is this all of Pierce County?
So we're focused primarily on Pierce County. I'm sorry, primarily on Tacoma. We do go outside of Tacoma a bit, primarily for emergent need groceries. So that's another thing that we do year round. We don't talk about it a ton because we don't always have a lot of money to spend on it. But if someone gets in touch with us and they can't get to St. Leo's because, whatever the reason is, or they can't get to their local pantry, we'll do a week's worth of groceries for them. And the only questions we ask are, what are your food allergies, basically? And then we go to the store and we'll deliver anywhere in the county. But we do focus primarily on Tacoma.
Okay, just wonderful. When I'm thinking about who I'm sharing this with, I'll just be more local. All right, thanks.
So thank you so much, Heidi. That was awesome to hear about. I hope others were excited as well, and just have some great ideas kind of percolating to help support this wonderful agency. And I don't see Gerald Daniels, who the director of the Rice Center. I haven't seen him yet, and he was going to present. This is another great agency on the hilltop that specifically provides services for those experiencing homelessness. So something must have come up, but we'll definitely have him back, because I really want to make sure that people hear about this program just here locally. It's one of Associated Ministries' neighbors, and yours too, Heidi, to just really learn more what they're doing and look for specific ways to get involved. If anything, what I can do is I could get a hold of Gerald and see about sending some information out to get directly involved, to make sure that that information is circulated, so we could support the Rice Center. And so we may, let's see, we're now Mike Yoder, who's the executive director of Ministries. He always gives us great insight into how we can continuously advocate through using our moral voice to really create further change in this community, So there's all kinds of levels of ways that we could change at the systemic level, all the way to the direct service level, as Heidi has been describing. So again, the purpose of this is to bring people together, like-minded people together, to really equip individuals to be able to impact somehow homelessness in our community. So Mike, you have the remaining time to just
No, I
really.
don't. I don't. You're tempting me by giving me all the rest of the time of the meeting, but I'll just try to take a couple of minutes of, was just preparing some closing thoughts for today, but thank you for, so Heidi also has in the chat there that she has posted her website. Definitely check that. And I just want to say that I love this idea of focusing on volunteerism and how we can step up and roll up our sleeves and find a role, find a way to serve our neighbors experiencing homelessness. And we heard a great opportunity for that right now, just now in the Feed 253 opportunity. And earlier when Michelle started, I think, I already came on and gave you a little preview of the comments I was going to make here at the end about how important an opportunity like the Project Homeless Connect event is in terms of just a place to wade in and check things out. How about an opportunity to wade in by just cooking some food in your kitchen? There's a great opportunity just to do something. Take that first intentional step towards someone different than you that is in need. And it could start a journey in a whole new direction. So I just actually wanted to mention a couple of these opportunities, obviously the ones that we highlighted in the program tonight. And let's not forget about Pastor or Chaplain Ed Jacobs at the beginning of the program reminded us of an event he's working with us at Associate Ministries to put on December 21st, Tuesday night at Bethlehem or at Shiloh Baptist Church. We're going to host a local expression, a local gathering on the night of the National Homeless Persons Memorial Day. So that December 21st is winter solstice. It's the longest night of the year. So that is a very appropriate evening to think about our neighbors who are living unsheltered on the longest night of the year. So as Sandy's reminding us in chat, I think it's going to be really, really important that we get the word out, and anybody who really, really cares about lifting up the plight, making sure our neighbors who are unsheltered and unhoused are not forgotten. This would be a great, great opportunity to show up and to show our community that there's a whole bunch of us in Tacoma and Pierce County that don't want to let our homeless neighbors be unforgotten. So we're going to show up that night and remember those who are living unsheltered, especially with a focus on those who have passed in the last year, the most ultimate act of vulnerability. They lost their lives on the streets. And I think it would send a great signal to our community if we filled up that entire sanctuary at Shiloh Baptist Church and just let the community know how many people are standing behind our neighbors experiencing homelessness, that we would take an hour out of our busy holiday season and show up on that longest night of the year to remember those. So that's just one tangible thing we can do. We're going to be getting the word out widely on that. We've got official proclamations from the city of Tacoma and from the Pierce County Council that they're making to name that National Homeless Persons Memorial Day in Tacoma in Pierce County. So it'll be an official proclamation. So we're trying to get some publicity. For the sake of publicity? No, for the sake of helping our neighbors be more aware of those that are needed. And Valerie mentioned the Moral Voice efforts. That's an ongoing thing that I often update you on. So we'll just make a plug. There's going to be opportunities for people of faith and goodwill to step up and advocate for some systems change that we really, really need to just continue to push for and fight for in this community. So we're going to keep you updated in this platform and through our emails. We've talked a lot about the Revenue for Housing group that is bringing faith community members together and showing up at the Pierce County Council on a regular basis to advocate for the fund for affordable housing, which is a great, great need. So there's opportunities like that. So If you don't want to cook a meal, if you don't want to volunteer to show up at the Homeless Connect event, if you can't make it out to Shiloh Baptist on a Tuesday night during Christmas week, you can maybe Zoom in online to a county council meeting or a city council meeting and advocate as a community member for our elected leaders to do the right thing and creating policies and that help our most vulnerable neighbors have a better chance at getting ahead. So just even showing up and using your voice to show that you care that systems and policies be implemented. Those are all things you can do. And the last thing I'll make a plug for is a great organization, all volunteer organization that meets in our community. Maybe most of you on this call are already aware of it. It's the Tacoma Pierce County Coalition to End Homelessness. And they're a great group of volunteer people that meet together online. They used to meet in person for years, or with the Salvation Army for the last 2 years. They've been meeting online on Zoom every Friday morning, 9 to 11, and it's just the one-stop place to just find out about anything and everything that's happening that affects our homeless neighbors. They also have some great listservs that you can subscribe to so that you'll just be regularly informed of both needs and opportunities to show up. And so go to their website, pchomeless.org. I really encourage you to go to the coalition website, pchomeless.org. Look at the resources. Sign up for any listservs where you want to receive their information, and then you can sign up to get the Zoom link to attend their Friday morning meeting. And it's just at least show up and listen and learn and see what else you might be inspired to do, to volunteer or to show up, to use your voice. I want to encourage all of us, and I want all of you to encourage those that you know, to make 2022 a year when we all commit to making an intentional move to grow in our personal and collective service to our unhoused neighbors. Will you make a commitment like that? Let's do something. Let's make a move forward in coming alongside those in need. Pick something. We've given you a whole bunch of opportunities just in this hour tonight, and we're going to keep you informed. And so just not say, that's not for me. That's not for me. Find something that is for you, and let's get on with moving on and moving ahead with serving those in need. So that's the last thing I want to leave you with as we end this year of community meetings. Let's pick something. Don't let the year end without you choosing to make an intentional next step for next year. Thanks for coming, everybody. Valerie, back to you.
Yeah, thank
Valerie, can we share that Tacoma Pierce County housing website again?
Get my mic back on. It's pchomeless.org.
pchomeless.org. Okay.
Yeah,
thank you.
If you don't know about that site, you need to know about that site. It is the #1 place for all of us in Pierce County to go to find information about homeless services. They have a real-time updates on shelter beds, and so like literally, if you just run into somebody in your faith community, if you run into somebody in your office or workplace, and they just say like, I need shelter and housing, actually go to pchomeless.org and you can get a real-time idea of where shelter capacity is available right now tonight on that website. So, and then you can find out about their lists and their meetings and all kinds of ways to show up. So you need to know about pchomeless.org.
So thank you so much, Mike. That was really encouraging. What a way to end the year, to think of one way, just one way you can get involved, big or small, and it could be showing up. Remember, just showing up.
Yes.
Huge, just showing up. And so we hold these meetings every quarter. Please continue to keep coming back. We get quite a crowd usually on these meetings. I know that December, it's always a little, but please stay encouraged, keep showing up. We're going to bring you more insight, more information. Sandy will make sure that you receive information. We're going to get some great presentations as usual at the next meeting. But yeah, just keep showing up, and we would love to hear how you get involved in the new year in our meeting in March. So Thank you so much, everyone. I hope everyone has a beautiful night, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you all.